You're looking live at the Langley Recreation, the George Preston Recreation Center in the township of Langley, British Columbia. It is Thursday morning action at the 2020 New Holland Canadian Junior Men's and Women's Curling Championships. My name is Al Cameron from Curling Canada, joined by three-time Canadian Junior Men's, two-time World Junior Men's champion Tyler Tardy from right here in the township of Langley. And Tyler, quite a game this morning. We get to see this unbeaten Manitoba women's team skipped by Mackenzie Zacharias against Saskatchewan's Ashley Thevenot at 4-3, and Saskatchewan at 3 losses in desperate need of a win, and I think that's going to produce a very, very good game this morning.
Yeah, super excited to watch this game. These are two great teams, and you know, every game in the championship pool matters, and yeah, excited to watch this one.
We'll run down the lineups here for you briefly. This Manitoba team, like we said, 7-0 from the Altona Curling Club, skipped by Mackenzie Zacharias. The vice skip. Well, actually, she throws third, but she's not the vice skip, one of those kind of lineups. Throwing third is Carly Burgess. The second is Emily Zacharias, Mackenzie's sister. The lead and vice skip, she will hold the broom for Mackenzie, is Lauren Lenentine. And the coach is Sheldon Zacharias, Mackenzie and Emily's dad. And as noted, a 7-0 record. Saskatchewan, coming from the Sutherland Curling Club in Saskatoon. The skip is Ashley Thevenot. The vice skip is Rachel Erickson. Second, Paige Engel. The lead is Mary Engel, sisters. And the coach is James Mullaney. As we noted, a 4-3 record. What's notable about that 4-3 record is at one point they were 4-0, but have lost their last 3 games, and they want to get off that L train today.
Rachel.
And we see right away that Manitoba has got the pressure on. They've got a rock in the rings, a couple misses from Saskatoon. The corner guard is up, and that's just a deadly combination when you're playing a team that's shooting the lights out like Manitoba, Tyler.
Yeah, they've been a hot team all season, really, not even just this week. They've had quite a bit of success in the women's field as well, and I think this is definitely a team you don't want to be making too many mistakes against.
Back 4.
Starting to curl now. Lauren first, curling now. Right here, Lauren.
Notable, of course, that this Manitoba back end of Carly Burgess and Mackenzie Zacharias leading their positions in shooting by quite a wide margin, actually. Mackenzie Zacharias shooting 84 to lead all skips. Second place is Mackenzie Mitchell of Newfoundland Labrador at 80. Carly Burgess throwing 91 at the third position. That's a real good number, needless to say. 5 points ahead of Alberta's Catherine Clifford. Emily Zacharias at second is second among seconds. 81 for the week. One back of 82 being posted by Calissa Daly. And Lauren Lenentine second among leads at, well, actually leading among leads. The person with the higher number hasn't played enough games to count, so she is tied for the lead among leads with Jessica Leonard of Northern Ontario at 86, and that adds up to the obvious that Manitoba is leading in the team shooting percentages at 86 as well. Saskatchewan, meanwhile, 78 or 74 for the week, well back in those standings, but they are in the championship pool, and I would suggest a 7-3 record, if they could win their final 3 games in these championship pool, would get them in the mix. But it starts right now.
Sweat, straight, gotta go straight.
We're short.
Okay.
This one
That's
really
fine
lost
there.
its handle.
That's going to come up light, but that's the first miss we've seen out of Manitoba. They 2 in the rings, corner guards up, and Saskatchewan needs to get out of trouble here. Manitoba does have last rock advantage in this first end. Rachel Erickson. She's 21 and an agronomy student at the University of Saskatchewan. The lone player on this team with any experience at the New Holland Under-21 Canadian Championship. She was a member of Sarah England's team that finished 5-5 last year in Prince Albert. The other 3 are rookies at this event. They also have an alternate with the team, Madison Kleider, that is Ryland's sister, and Madison did get into action earlier in the week As Mary Angle was out with a ankle injury. She is back playing today.
Yeah, and Rachel doesn't only have experience here. She's been at the U18s a few times, if I believe. But
She did skip in 2017 at Moncton for Saskatchewan, 3-5 record there.
Yeah.
That was, I believe, your one and done experience at the U18 level, was it not? Or did you get a couple cracks at it?
we had a couple cracks at it, fortunately.
Always fun to travel to New Brunswick for championships, so you got that experience. The open hit being played,
Hard.
but Manitoba sitting 2 in the rings with a couple corner guards up. Will they hold the shooter? It will hang on the outside rings. Looks like Manitoba's content to work at that deuce, although you might think that they might draw at some point.
It's got to be full 12 to be second.
It does.
And here we go.
Yeah, it's more than I had. I think we can finish it.
Yeah, I don't think this is a team that's going to play a safe shot for 2. They're playing well enough to play the hard shots for 3, and it shows on their scoreboards this week.
Carly Burgess
Top floor.
Line's a little
looking to make
tight.
history this week as the only female 3-time champion at the Canadian Juniors. Of course, the man to my right, he and his teammate Sterling Middleton, the only 3-time male champions at this championship.
Whoa.
Around it?
No.
That is a little heavier than they'd hope, but should be, oh, it does rub off and
It's not bad, Car.
certainly freezable.
13-7. 13-7. 13-7.
And we'll talk more about Carly Burgess as this game goes on. Lots to talk about, including the fact that Tyler, to my right, was a teammate of Carly Burgess at one time at the Youth Winter Olympics.
Freeze.
And lots to talk about with the Youth Winter Olympics. Canada winning a gold medal yesterday over in Lausanne, which was great news. I'll give you more details as our broadcast goes on. So this is a big shot for Saskatchewan, Tyler.
Yeah, it's if you're making this, you're getting a really good chance of forcing Team Manitoba, and if not, you could be in a little bit of a pickle. So yeah, definitely want to make sure you got a good read as the front end on their last shot there that went deep,
Really
and
good, guys.
figure out the weight as best you can and
We got room right
really
now.
make this a big team shot.
Hard.
Front end is working hard.
Hard, guys. Get it there. Get second.
It's going to rub off and into the open, and now big trouble for Saskatchewan.
Mary, just stay tight on those.
We'll run down the Manitoba scores to date. They opened with a 10-4 win over Prince Edward Island, 11-1 over Nunavut, 6-4 over Quebec, 7-6 over Nova Scotia. And that was an interesting game because it was Carly Burgess playing against her cousin,
Just around.
Lindsay, and playing against Nova Scotia for the first
Yeah,
time
just like
since
half open's fine.
moving to Manitoba this past off season. 7-5 over New Brunswick,
Yeah.
9-6 over Northern Ontario, and then 8-3 over Ontario.
Okay.
Saskatchewan, meanwhile, opened
What
with
was my
4
done
straight
button? You
wins,
guys know.
9-8 over Alberta, 8-5 over BC, 13-6 over Yukon, 8-3 over the Northwest Territories, then an 11-3 loss to Newfoundland Labrador, and then an 11-10 loss to Ontario. And we'll talk about that a little more, 'cause that really was a game that got away in a big way, and then lost 9-3 last night to Quebec.
Wait, it's coming. No, then.
Got to be a little careful here. They can potentially put this in not so good of a spot and
Hard.
leave Saskatchewan at the run back, and
Hard.
could leave them an out, but looks like they did not leave that.
14-3.
Sitting 3, and
Yeah, you got a
suspect
piece under.
Saskatchewan
Yeah,
might
I
look
thought it
at
was
some
up.
kind of double here to
Yeah.
get away with giving up
Good throw,
2.
Mac.
Yeah, I think at this point, giving up 2 is a big success, and just brush it off and try again next time. Another thought is you could maybe even throw this off and tuck a piece under, maybe lie second shot, pretty close, and There's a lot of rocks there that'll jam, so you may only have a draw for 2 if you make that.
Yep. Yep. Hard line. Hard line. Hard
Are
line.
they going to get it by their own red?
Hard.
Well, will the double? No, it does not, but it does sit second shot.
Sweet.
But wide open for Mackenzie Zacharias to get the 3.
Yeah, it should go here, I think. Yeah, that's true. Okay. Yeah.
Clean. Whoa.
Clean.
No.
Clean.
Clean it.
Yeah, Carly, hard.
Good.
And just like that, a couple misses early in the end, and it adds up to a big 3 for Manitoba. And another reminder, you just cannot make half shots against
Came
a
up a
good
lot of-
curling
yeah.
team because they will jump
It's
all over it.
just
And
breaks
Manitoba,
right
Tyler,
up to the center.
is a very, very
Even
good
the
curling
draws.
team.
Yeah,
Yeah,
normally in
those
juniors you can maybe
yeah.
get away with a few
Yeah.
misses, and I don't think this Manitoba team is playing like a junior team though, and they're looking at their numbers. They're playing more at the Scotties level right now, so definitely got to jump on every opportunity you can get and stay sharp against this hot team.
You know, we talked about Saskatchewan and their struggles of late. They lost a bad one against Newfoundland Labrador, 11-3, but those happen at the juniors. But it was the game Tuesday night against Ontario and Sierra Sutherland that I think really got this team going in the wrong direction, as they were up 6-0 after 4 ends, a steal of 3 in the first end, steal of 2 in the second end, force Ontario to 1 in the third, and then take 1 in the fourth. But Ontario comes back, 4 in the fifth, a steal of 2 in the sixth, and suddenly they're in the lead. And then the team had traded 3 enders coming down the stretch, and Ontario finally did win with a single in the 10th end without having to throw their last shot. And, you know, in talking with Saskatchewan coach James Mullaney this morning, he did say that was a tough one to deal with. It was emotional because it was such a roller coaster ride, including the fact that they did manage to come back and get a 3 on the board and have a chance late in the game. And Tyler, you know enough about curling, and particularly gone through it at the juniors, to know that there's going to be a roller coaster ride. You've been through that yourself, and how do you deal with that and try and get back on the on side with the positivity?
Yeah, those games are tough, and when you start off with a big lead, it's a part of it's almost a little intimidating because you know the only way the other team can go is up, and they got nothing to lose at that point. So when they do make those little comebacks, they have all the momentum, and it's really hard to get back after you lose a big lead like that. And I think you just gotta focus on the process and not dwell on the past. I think things like, say you give up a steal in the first end, and you relate that to taking 1 on a great shot. The steal is going to hurt a lot more, and I think we just dwell on the misses a little more than we celebrate the made shots. I'm kind of going off track a bit, but
Well, it's actually it is on track, because that kind of speaks to what James Mullaney was speaking about early in the game in terms of trying to keep a pretty level-headed attitude towards it too, and be able to take those and be able to forget them as quickly as possible too. He said, one of the things he said about this team, you know they're going to be in good shape if they're looking a little robotic out there. They're following the process, and I think that's what they'll need to start showing out here, because giving up a 3 kind of gets in the way of being robotic, quite honestly, and they'll have to generate some offense. They do have a couple centers up but it is Manitoba sitting at the back button.
Line's closed. Top four. Top four. Wait only right now. Line's good.
Emily Zacharias, a student at the University of Manitoba,
Yeah, then. Line's good. Yeah, then, Lauren.
18 years old.
Line's good, guys. Yeah.
She's got a couple great sweepers in front of her. That's Carly Burgess, Lauren Lenentine,
Right here. Right to finish.
teammates last year with Nova Scotia.
Right up.
They won the bronze medal in Prince Albert. Teammates the year before at the World Juniors in Aberdeen, and Lauren Lenentine was brought aboard as the alternate. And they both moved to Manitoba to go to school over the summer. And Carly also had an ulterior motive because her boyfriend,
Take your time.
Jacques Gauthier, Tyler's cousin, happens to live in Winnipeg. So made sense to move out there, and they connected with the Zacharias sisters shortly after last year's Canadian Juniors, in fact. Carly did. And that got the ball rolling on the team getting together. Well, they get that by the guard. It will crash. Manitoba sitting 2. Did that spill on? It does not. So Manitoba sitting 2 and continuing to apply the pressure.
Not too bad of a result even. They got rid of the stagger on the guards, and
Yeah, Tony.
they have a better opportunity to make a run at their own if they need to later this end.
Just note, Tyler, I just got an email from Curl BC previewing the BC Men's Championship in Cranbrook. Guess that's where you'll be. You'll be heading there on Sunday, so you won't get a chance to watch the gold medal games here in the township of Langley in person, but I'm sure you'll be paying attention en route.
Right over. Right up, car. Right up. Keep going a little bit more. A little more. Right up.
As BC Men's and Women's Championships get underway, they run January 28th to February 2nd in Cranbrook at Western Financial Place. Should be a great BC Championships. Some quality teams. They're looking to get to the National Scotties in Moose Jaw and the Tim Hortons Brier presented by AGI in Kingston, Ontario. So this is a pretty important shot here for Saskatchewan. They need to get into somewhere where they can generate some offense. There is a port there. Looks like it will rack on the guard. That side, we have noticed, does curl more, so it does leave a hole, but I suspect Manitoba will try and close that hole in a hurry.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the only way in there, and you may see Saskatchewan bail and try to make sure they can score at this point.
24 hours ago, Mike Merklinger's ice technicians were in frantic conditions trying to get this ice playable. There were no morning draws here in the arena, and the ice plant went down overnight, somewhere between 2 or 3 in the morning, and wasn't discovered till about 7:45. The repairs were made, but the ice, when they discovered it, was well warmer than normal, and just short of starting to melt.
This slid really well.
But Mike Merklinger and his team did just a remarkable job to get it playable in time for the 2 p.m. draw. And in checking out the ice times and seeing the curl, no issues whatsoever. There was talk that they were going to sand the rocks, just to touch them up a bit. That has not taken place, no need to. And ironically, in fact, the little glitch they had with the ice plant may have actually prevented the need for the touching up of the rocks, which would be ironic. I don't recommend that as a way to do things because it certainly caused a few more gray hairs for Mike Merklinger, but
Yeah, I was here that morning, and Mike wasn't looking too excited about life at that point.
my goodness, what a terrific shot, getting through that hole and sitting frozen as Carly Burgess's guard attempt over-curled and came in a little deeper, and Rachel Erickson, a big, important shot for Saskatchewan to freeze
Well, it curls.
on top of the button. So Carly Burgess will try and follow that same path down.
Yeah, it's an end saver and a big sigh of relief. They're looking like if they didn't make that shot, they're going to struggle to score. And now they may have a decent shot at 2 if they keep making shots like that.
Top 8, top 4, Wait's good. Wait's good. Line's good. Yeah, now. Hard. Hard. Top 8. Hard. Yes, line. Hard line.
Trying to drag that past. And it will get through. And stops in a nice spot that sure makes that 2 look tough.
I think we guard the
Yeah, there's a pretty lonely red in there with all those yellows, and I'd be a little tempted to just guard and take your 1 at this point and
Let's play it.
run for the hills and try again next time.
Okay.
Looks like they kind of have the same idea there.
I go like this way.
Great minds think alike. They'll play it with the counterclockwise rotation. They've been playing clockwise up till now.
Yeah, the guard with the other turn looks a little tricky with that high guard being there. And this way the weight doesn't need to be as perfect, and it definitely makes the shot a lot easier in my
Line's
opinion.
good.
Got a curl.
Looks like more than 2.
Whoa. Finish. Hard.
Seeing if they can get a little bounce out to close that hole, but Tyler, I don't think that curled enough. That said, I'm not sure what Manitoba has here either, so.
They may, I'm not sure how much it's curling there, but they could maybe throw
I don't think it's there this
like a
she doesn't have
backline
anything
weight
this way.
and
What else
just
do we throw?
move them around and lie shot.
I mean, we probably can't
But they've
hurt
played on
ourselves.
this
The
ice
worst
and
we
been
do
playing
is
pretty
this,
well,
right?
so
If we sit here, that's not.
if they haven't
I don't
saw it
think
yet,
that's bad.
maybe it's not there.
I think they were just
This
you're
top's
talking
doing
through the
nothing
hole
for
again.
us, so they're still going to be 1.
Yeah. So I have to hit it decent hard.
I think the guard's easier.
I think just guard. Like, we can give her 1. I think like here. Because we gotta get all the way over.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with this call, I don't think, eh, Tyler?
No, for sure. You have a 3-point lead, and a force is never a bad thing in that situation.
Okay. Little less.
And speaking analytics, that definitely helps out
What kind of weight?
your win percentage.
I think it's still max. A little bit less. Yeah. Okay. Like 17?
Line's good. Just halfway. Easy line.
Then
Easy
switch.
line.
Then switch.
2's okay. Wait for it.
Yeah, car.
Hard car.
Great sweeping technique by both these players. Will it get across? Oh, wow. Didn't see that coming. They weren't working real hard at it.
Sorry, guys.
I've seen actually a few shots this game come up a little short, and I'm wondering if it's just a little slower this morning than the other games.
We can try it, you just risk hitting that.
Try what?
We could try it, but you're gonna risk hitting that. I don't think it's there though.
You can try.
That or guard.
I think it's there. Well, maybe not.
Because mine just missed those and it got here.
Okay, let's just guard it.
Not exactly sure what the team Manitoba was actually guarding there. I don't really see much for Team Saskatchewan through that this right side on the screen.
Ashley
Other
Thevenot,
side of that yellow.
studying animal bioscience at the University of Saskatchewan. 21 years old.
Lots of line, Mary then.
Gotta get it over, guys. Hard over, we got cross center. Got cross center, hard. We hit that
Pretty
one.
much a repeat of their first
You
shot.
hit that. Yeah. Just kick it over.
For those wondering about if there's a relationship between
Yeah.
Ashley Thevenot and Kara Thevenot, who played with Robin Silvernagel on that Saskatchewan
Like 5 inches.
team at the 2019 Scotties in Sydney, there is, but it's a little more distant. I asked Pat Simmons for the story here. Pat Simmons, of course, the high performance director for Curl Sask, and he asked Kara, and Kara's response is, she is my husband's first cousin's daughter. So it's too early in the morning to draw out a family tree, but there is a relation, but certainly not sisters or anything like that.
Cars rock.
So they will close that hole again, but like you say, Tyler, I'm not sure if there was a shot there anywhere.
Yeah, it's not too often actually you see both
Go
teams
hard.
guarding the same
Hard finish.
shot.
Hard finish.
Right over. Good, good.
Maybe a throw through here,
17-6.
and it will be.
Good though. I thought I was gonna sneeze as I was sliding.
I know you're sitting in the high.
So on the throw through for Saskatchewan, which will result in a single point, that will leave Manitoba in a 3-1 lead with Hammer. That gives us a chance to talk about the Youth Winter Olympics in Lausanne. And Nathan Young of Torbay, Newfoundland, wins Canada's first ever mixed doubles gold medal with his partner Laura Nagy. And just a great result for Canada and that whole Canadian team that participated in the Youth Olympics. Emily Deschênes, Jaden Newart, and Lauren Rajala with Coach Helen Radford just did a remarkable job representing our country over at the Youth Olympics. And Tyler, of course, you played at those Youth Olympics yourself in 2016, and you know what an amazing experience that is, having won a gold medal there yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. We learned so much and gained some connections that we still hang on to this day. And I think regardless of the result, you represented your country well, and definitely can carry a lot in that experience and have it help out in some success throughout the rest of your curling career.
How'd you do in the mixed doubles there?
Lost the semi and the bronze medal game final.
And your partner was from?
Japan.
Speak any English?
We talked mostly through Google Translate.
No kidding.
Yeah.
You had your phones with you on the ice?
No, but we kind of had some code words on the ice. I learned a little bit Japanese, and I completely lost it after those 4 years. But
you knew the next question, and you just preemptively answered it.
yeah, still talk with her every once in a while, Honoka Sasaki. But yeah, that was a fun experience, regardless of the result, and really happy with how we did that week.
And you talk about a great team, your 4-player team. Mary Fay as the skip, you as the vice. Carly Burgess, whom we're watching here this morning, as the second, and your teammate Sterling Middleton as the lead. And that really, for that age group, it has to go down in history as one of the great mixed teams, youth teams ever put together. And with Helen Radford as the coach, I know that was just an amazing experience for you guys there.
Yeah, that, to say the least, amazing experience was. That was something I'll hold on to for the rest of my life, and yeah, just the opportunities we've gotten from that, it's definitely helped, and pretty much all of our success. I don't think I can honestly say that without the Youth Olympic Games we wouldn't have had the success and opportunities that we've had.
And I know you got to meet that Canadian Youth Olympic team from this year when you were at the Next Gen camp in Leduc, and I'm sure you passed on some advice that they must have taken, because that was a nice group of curlers too, good citizens on and off the ice as well.
Yeah, all super nice kids, and I think it's great to see that there are a lot of youth that are still passionate about the game, and I think with Nathan especially, it's nice to see another guy out of Newfoundland that's up and coming right after Brad, and really excited to see how those kids turn up in the future. I know some of the past Youth Olympic alumni, like Corinne Brown, for example, has been watching us, and it's fun to kind of watch the teams that are coming up after you. And yeah, it's great to see, and I'm excited to see what their future is.
You mentioned the 2012 Youth Olympics. Corinne Brown was a member of that Canadian team, skipped by Thomas Scoffin. And Corinne Brown will be skipping a team at those BC Championships.
Yeah, playing with my girlfriend Desiree Hawes, and I gotta give her a special shout out. It's her birthday today, so happy birthday, Des.
See how we set that up?
It's
Took a
perfect.
long road to get there,
Yeah,
but
like clockwork.
other two members of that 2012 Canadian team that won a bronze medal, Derek Ariniak and Emily Gray.
T-line main.
So it is 2 Saskatchewan Stones out front and 2 Manitoba Stones in the house. They are overlapped, so I think Saskatchewan's trying to get one to the back house behind those overlap, but it's going to have to curl a little. Should be open.
Okay.
Emily Zacharias will take on the open hit.
Close, clean. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Carly. 9.5. Car.
Hard car.
Hard car.
Hard
Right
car.
up. Sorry.
okay,
That was a good throw. 9-4.
Not displeased to lose that shooter, I think, behind the T-line, Tyler.
Yeah, rocks behind the T-line are never exactly gonna always help, so yeah, not too bad of a thing, but also nice to stick your shooter, but yeah, those rocks can definitely hurt you if you let them get in a bad spot.
Paige Engel, she's a 20-year-old kinesiology student at the University of Saskatchewan.
4-5. Wayne's close.
Also has competed in the Provincial Wrestling Championships in Saskatchewan.
Hard, hard, hard. Tuck a piece, tuck a piece, tuck a piece.
Still accessible. You know, Tyler, when you watch this team, they can obviously play all the shots, but there's oftentimes it's not necessarily just the ability to make shots. There's a lot of little things that good teams do well, and I'm sure you're seeing that they're doing some of those little things. You know, just the communication of the team, for instance, is one of those things that they seem to have very good ability to speak to each other, and they speak a curling shorthand that they understand.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm a little surprised though with the weight choice there. It's a little hard to stick that kind of a shot with. I think they were throwing about a 10, and you know, they're all great sweepers, and I think it's quite obvious. And I think any time you can bring those sweepers in, when you have sweepers like that, is quite necessary. You can just throw a little less weight and make those shots. But yeah, I totally agree. They have the smarts to be a great team. It's not always just about making shots. It's about making good decisions and being smart about it. And I definitely think they're one of those teams that are making all the right choices.
You see Saskatchewan decided to switch turns to see if they could get something buried, and pretty good shot on an unfamiliar path today, and see if Carly Burgess can make the hit going the other way.
Really hard. Really
See if Lanentine and Zacharias can keep it out there.
Right up.
And it is going to wreck on the guard. So Saskatchewan's change in strategy pays off, and they'll try and get another one behind those overlapped
Sorry?
Manitoba stones.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are one of those opportunities we were talking about earlier against a team like Manitoba. This is probably one of the better shots you're going to have this game, and you definitely want to take it.
Line's good. Line's really good, guys.
Right here. Mary.
Rachel Erickson, another multi-talented athlete. She's competed in track and field, specializing in long jump, triple jump, shot put, and the relays in high school. And lovely, lovely result there.
I think it's a little further than they were hoping, but
Do that too.
still a great result.
Do the same thing, but I think we have to.
You can't. You won't kill both of ours.
Even if you just
Peel.
get the back one. Right at it.
Trying to see if they can get one of those stones removed. Carly Burgess.
Yeah, there's a few ways you can play this. You can kind of keep peeling it out and wait for a miss from Team Saskatchewan, and
You threw it good. It just fell way back.
or you could have played it maybe a little softer and try to hit and roll in front, but either one works.
You could hear the discussion there. Mackenzie Zacharias saying that she thought the rock fell out a little bit, and maybe for new curling fans, Tyler, what does that mean? It fell out.
When you're caught in a bit of a straight path, you throw it good, and then you can see as the skip or the line caller that it's actually moving in an outward motion instead of straight. So it essentially just looks like it's literally falling out.
Not curling at all, and
Curling backwards in a sense.
I'm sure you've played on some ice surfaces where it does that even on draw weight.
Oh yeah.
Line's good. Line's really good,
First
guys.
time we actually played in mixed doubles provincials with Des, it was mixed doubles. In my opinion, you need pretty curly ice, and we were. I don't think it was very common that you saw a team hit the center line, and definitely a tougher piece of ice that we played on. But you gotta work with what you got always, and as everyone says, everyone's playing on it, so just a matter of who can figure it out fastest.
Firm. Okay.
So Saskatchewan suddenly has found a nice path
Feel
there.
firm or peel?
They're sitting 1-2.
That was so firm. Try to get a little bit of movement.
Manitoba does have last rock, but Saskatchewan, for the first time in this game, starting to
Just
apply a
firm.
little pressure.
Hopefully it doesn't fall as much then.
Yeah, and I think this Manitoba team isn't necessarily a team that's had a whole lot of pressure this week. So I think if you can be one of those teams that kind of applies that pressure, maybe we'll see how they do with it.
It's going to get by their own. Oh, great sweeping. What a
Great
shot. That is a well-swept, well-called, well-thrown shot for the double by Mackenzie Zacharias. And that suddenly kills the steal, but still the same shot available to Saskatchewan.
Yeah, they've seen it quite a few times this end, and I think they're very confident in what the speed is and how much curl it has. So, yeah, just got to take your time and make the shot as best you can.
They'll try and get it to the same spot. They've got a pretty good grasp of the path here and the speed.
sweep there. Got a good chunk of that buried. That's a great shot.
Okay, same shot. Same weight.
So the pick being called for Mackenzie Zacharias to score a couple. I think she can see a sliver, but not much more than that.
Yeah, pretty much as you need to hit.
There you see the angle. Could have drawn for the one as well, but feels comfortable about throwing this. She just threw it.
Whoa. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Whoa.
Whoa, 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 whoa. No, M.
Trying to get it to curl a little.
Hard.
And it will be a steal of one for Saskatchewan. They may have jumped the sweep out on that a little bit, and it does cost Manitoba. So Saskatchewan,
More than the other one.
Yeah. I got a
two
little
great
more weight.
shots
Okay.
by Ashley Thevenot to generate the stolen point, and Saskatchewan is right back in this game, down 3-2 going to the fourth end. And Tyler, I gotta say, I'm very impressed with the way that Saskatchewan has responded to giving up that three in the first end.
Yeah, it's obviously a little bit of a stressful situation being given up three in the first, but even after being forced in the second, that's not exactly a great position. But having a good end after that, they made a lot of shots in the third, and giving it with a steal is definitely going to give them a lot of confidence.
And you know, you look for moments that maybe just kind of turn a game around, and especially for a team that coming in with 3 straight losses. But I go back to the force, and actually the shot, I think it was Rachel Erickson that made the draw to freeze on the button. And that's when they finally, since then, I don't think they missed a real big shot because they've been very, very solid. But I think that was a much-needed confidence boost, just making that first big shot of the game.
Yeah, for sure. And I think in juniors, especially, confidence plays a pretty significant role in the outcome of the game. And yeah, the shots like that are always going to help and boost the entire team, not just one player.
Center guard played by Saskatchewan.
Line's good. M first. Yeah, line. Hard. Hard line. Keep going. Okay. 15 and a half.
Okay, Mary, you know the adjustment here.
Couple guards in play, and in an overlap position too, so this is a bit of an opportunity for Saskatchewan if they can get this into the house behind cover.
Hard line.
Wait's good.
Hard. Hey, you're back. Whoa.
I'm not sure if the weight's just a bit of a struggle this game, but we've seen quite a bit of overlap guards so far in these past 3 ends. So teams may want to have a quick chat about that and try to figure out the ice as much as they can. And there may be a slight difference in the ice, or even if you just have a quick chat about it and tell yourselves that you need to throw a little more weight on those draws, and whatever you can to fix those small mistakes that are going to make an impact on the game.
Just do it. Gotta curl up.
Game on as the freeze attempt is
14,
made
right?
successfully by Lauren Lenentine.
Yeah, I think if teams are going to be making those shots, we're going to have a pretty entertaining end here.
Full morning of games here in the township of Langley, and we'll give you a quick rundown on some of the other games in progress. In the other women's championship pool game here in the arena, you've got Alberta, Abby Marks, taking on a really solid New Brunswick team that has turned it on of late. New Brunswick started out with a couple losses, but have been really, really good since then. That team skipped, of course, by Melody Forsyth, and it's 2-1 New Brunswick, and we're into the fourth end. All single points on the board there. New Brunswick lost its first two games, but has since won 4 of its past 5, and sits at 4-3, while Alberta's at 5-2. And the other championship pool game this morning is over at the Langley Curling Center. You've got Ontario's Taylor Stevens at 4-3, taking on Nova Scotia's Taylor Stevens at 6-1, taking on Ontario's Sierra Sutherland, who's at 4-3. But it is Ontario out to the early lead. A deuce in the first, a stolen one in the second, and it's 3-0 Nova Scotia with last rock in the third end. And also one women's seeding pool game going on here this morning. Northern Ontario, Kira Brunton playing against Nunavut's Tiana Bain, and it is a 2-0 lead for Northern Ontario, a deuce in the third end. And the men's championship pool. Over on sheet A, you've got Saskatchewan and Ryland Kleider taking on Manitoba and Brett Walter, and it is a 2-1 lead for Saskatchewan. They're at 6-1. Manitoba's at 4-3, and a 2-1 lead for Saskatchewan after a third end deuce. Manitoba has hammer in the third. Also in the seeding pool, 2 teams at 5-2, but 2 teams that have lost a couple in a row. They both started 5-0, now 5-2. Newfoundland Labrador and Daniel Bruce taking on Tyler Smith and Prince Edward Island. And it is a 3-1 lead now for Daniel Bruce and Newfoundland Labrador. 1 in the first, a steal of 2 in the second. PEI gets 1 back in the third, but Newfoundland Labrador with a 2-point lead and the hammer playing the fourth end. Also in the championship pool over at the Langley Curling Center, it is BC #1, Hayato Sato, who put together a huge win last night, drawing the lid for a deuce in the 10th end, taking on Manitoba #2, Jacques Gauthier. And it is a 1-0 lead now for Manitoba #2. They took a single in the second end. BC has blanked the third, and they have hammer in the fourth end. And Tyler, of course, cousin to Jacques Gauthier and a former teammate, and Jacques Gauthier, obviously the boyfriend to Carly Burgess, whom we're watching today. So lots of connections here at the New Holland Canadian Juniors.
That's good. I'm just dead straight.
Just 9.
So Manitoba sitting a couple in the rings, but still those overlapped guards.
Yeah, they've been caught in this little straight spot a few times, so we'll see if Saskatchewan went to school here and saw the last couple shots, and it's not doing a whole lot, so
No.
Okay, roll it. Yep,
No roll.
Whoa.
Just rolled over a little too far, so
yeah, I believe we were playing the double, but I think they had a decent shot at going plan B and maybe making the hit and roll instead.
I got it. Yeah.
It's a little bit of a struggle on that one side. We saw that a bit last end as well.
Tell her it's up.
just rubs on the guard.
Yeah. What'd she throw?
And you know, Tyler is a teammate of Carly's from those Youth Olympics. You know what makes her tick? What makes her such a special player?
I'm going to have to go with just the morale on the ice. I find she's very similar to my cousin Jacques, and I think that's why maybe they get along so well. Just the ability to always be light on the ice, and I think that's true with any great player. And yeah, I think that's what stands out most.
Hard, Mary. Hard.
Are they going to get by the guards?
Hard, Mary.
Or they are going to get by the guards. Are they going to hold the shooter is the issue.
Still getting caught in that straight spot a little bit.
And that is not going to get off the rings, so that's a big break for Manitoba. So the open hit for Carly Burgess. And it's interesting, that's the point you'd say, you know, she's obviously a terrific sweeper, terrific shot maker, but the intangibles that a player can bring to a team, often not thought about, but that's a perfect example.
Yeah, I think it doesn't really matter how good of a thrower you are if you're not getting the best out of your teammates as well. It's yeah, it's not as important. You know, it's a team sport, and if you're you got to make your players happy and make them all play good, not just yourself. And I think she does a good job of that.
I like the out.
Okay.
Thinking the wall side's maybe a little high here. We're seeing
Got it.
less curl on the left side of the sheet and a lot more curl on the right side. So I'm curious, maybe this one might run a little straighter than you'd maybe expect, so we'll see.
That has been a theme of this week, in that the other turn in this particular spot certainly does curl more.
Sometimes as players you see a bit of a change in the ice just from the crowds and the feet coming off of the boards. It makes a little bit of a difference in the ice surface.
They were calling that for the double and the roll, and the double is not made, and the roll just goes a little too far. But we're talking half an inch a miss there, maybe an inch. Wasn't off by much, that's for sure.
Yeah, unfortunately in the sport of curling, it's half inch here and there that makes the difference, and just who can jump on those early.
We're still shot in the back.
It does look like that one side's a little straighter, so hopefully they can pick up on that.
Stay close. Theirs really didn't move out here, so.
Sounds like they did.
Sounds like Mackenzie went to school and has noticed that this side's a little straight, so they'll be a little cautious here to not back this one up with the sweep or anything.
Whoa. Clean. Whoa. Close. Car. Whoa. Yeah. Good.
Love the weight choice they're throwing on that.
11-7.
Got a straight spot, and you kind of want to negate anything from falling out. And the less weight you throw for that kind of a shot, the more readable it is.
I made sure I wasn't up. We're rolling.
Okay,
I like that too. It's whatever you want to throw.
let's do this. 9.
Okay. I think we have to throw this turn if we want to get shot.
Okay.
Throw that, we're going to come back here.
10 then?
I like that.
10.
10. Okay. You got it, Ashley.
So they had a choice there, Tyler, and what went into going after the back one?
Probably just getting shot. It's pretty tough to get shot if you're hitting the top one, so if they can get shot and maybe bury around those guards or the far right yellow, I think that'll be a success. Another thought is, since this side is fairly undiscovered, as I'd say, on this side of the sheet, as we go back to a couple of games ago, we were talking about being a guinea pig, and I think they could maybe play a hit and far roll over there and make Mackenzie be the guinea pig, and they'd be shot if they get a steep roll, and there we go, we're maybe seeing a little bit of a unexpected jump.
Hard for a piece. That looks like it. Well, and that is the curling turn, and maybe a little down on the weight, and just a bad combination because they weren't pessimistic coming out of the hand.
I got 11.
Yeah, and especially in a new path, you usually want to throw a little more weight if maybe it catches some fresh pebble
Same
and
path as Lauren.
maybe curling a little more than you'd usually expect. So it's usually good
Yeah,
to keep
should
your
have
weight
back
up
in.
on those kind of shots.
So it does go through the rings, and it will be a draw
touch
for
more.
3 for Manitoba. They opened the
15.
game with a 3 in the first,
Okay, so
and they've got
I
a
think I
great
threw a draw
shot
that was like 14-7.
for another one here. Touch paint for 3.
Line's good.
It's always those unforced errors, too, that can really bite you.
You have this. You have this.
Line's fine. Line's good. Oh, line. No line. No line.
No. Good.
And there it is. It is a 3 on the board for Manitoba, and they will jump out to a 6-2 lead.
Go, this way.
And just what you'd expect from Manitoba, they do not let you get away with errors.
No, absolutely not.
A reminder that if you're looking for scores from the 2020 Canadian Juniors, you just need to go online to curling.ca/scoreboard. Curling.ca/scoreboard, and you'll get all the scores, all the statistics, all the schedules from the 2020 New Holland Canadian Junior Men's and Women's Curling Championships. So the championship pool is underway, and it will conclude with the final championship pool draw Friday morning, and a tiebreaker, if necessary, would be played Friday at 2 p.m. Top 3 teams in both the men's and women's championship pools will go to the playoffs. Second versus third in the semifinals on Saturday. And the first place team will go straight into the gold medal games on Sunday. And Tyler, you went through both routes, I believe. You've had the bye to the final. You went through the semifinal. I think you had to go through a tiebreak one year. What's your preferred path?
As long as you're in playoffs, you're happy. It doesn't really matter in my eyes if you get the bye or not. It's just happy to be in the playoffs at a Canadian Juniors, and just ride with it. Whatever you got, you work with. Definitely less stressful if you're straight to the final, but
Gotta be tighter than that, guys.
Corner guard is the call for Saskatchewan.
Hard, get it over. Okay.
It's Mary Engel. She's a Bachelor of Commerce student at the University of Saskatchewan.
Line's good. Tight.
Line's good.
Still hanging. Wait only. Got a curl.
M's.
M in. Yeah, hard M. Hard M.
Hard finish.
Right up. Right tight.
I think
Man.
Team Saskatchewan is a bit of a
You guys got it.
seems anyway that their strength is with the draws, so I'd be trying as Team Saskatchewan to try to be a little more aggressive this end. It seems like when they've had those threes given up, it's been
Sweet.
fairly open, and
It just took a long time to get over.
I think they've been better off when they're making those freezes, and it seems like that's where their strength is, so definitely would be trying to force the ante a little bit there.
Lots of room this time. 2-3.
We're still just a 2.
Lots of room.
Just a 2.
Okay, Rachel.
Throwing the
Rachel
double
down.
corners here. That's a 5-rock rule call because Manitoba still will not be able to make a play at them,
Keep
and
going, keep going.
certainly increases your chance of scoring multiples.
Tight.
Line's good.
little surprised we're throwing two center guards here.
Almost, it's tough.
Saskatchewan can dig that one out. There's 4 guards up all of a sudden when they're up 4 points, and that could always be a little bit scary sometimes, but they're playing well, so whatever works.
Good,
Good, 15-8.
Really came over at the end. Really came over.
So decision for Saskatchewan.
Either that or we do this.
I like that.
I like that.
Throw peel.
Be a little inclined to throw a little less weight to make sure you stick your shooter here. You could always throw it a little soft, and even if you bump that one into the house, you can always use rocks in the house to maybe freeze on or bump back and generate some offense. But yeah, you just got to make sure you stick your shooter more than anything here.
Gonna have to work to keep that straight. Looking like it's
It's
gonna
over
go.
curling. They could maybe call off and try to roll to the other side of the corner, or other corner guard.
It sort of did. Another guard being called. Emily Zacharias.
If you can, yeah. Yeah. Yep, going now. Hard. Right over, Lauren. Right over. That's good. Good up.
I
15-9.
think now is a good chance for Team Saskatchewan to dig that one out
Yeah,
with
I will.
hack weight. Or even if you can just bump that one back and you're lining top 4 and they're chasing you.
They will instead take on the double peel. But again, I think I agree with you, Tyler. First of all, about your suggested call, but also the importance of keeping your shooter on the in play here for use. So the 2 yellow stones are gone, and it does leave a Saskatchewan stone out front. So it is a better situation, but it is still Manitoba sitting shot stone at the top of the button.
Yeah, still some work to do, but they freed up a bit of those run backs for them, so they have that option now.
Halfway. Okay. Okay.
Line's good. Just 2. Line's good. Just 2. 3. Whoa. 3. Whoa. No, we're not there. We're not there. Just here. Go here. Go here. Right here.
That's really good. That's good. That's good. That's good, Car.
Good throw by Carly Burgess.
It's really good.
Actually, Thevenot is going to take a look at the scenario, and
You could probably throw this in with a little less weight, and
Yeah.
you might be able to make this double and roll the first rock or the first red you're hitting and roll it under those double corner guards.
or you can throw a bullet.
Hard.
One of the two, yeah.
Okay. That's fine.
Hard over.
Good, good. Whoa.
And produce the result that you suggested. So Saskatchewan does have guards, but the problem still is that it's Manitoba that has shot rock and rock in hand, as Carly Burgess will throw another guard. problem is Saskatchewan's been needing a miss from Manitoba, and they're just not missing.
Yeah, I think at this point, wherever this stops, you kind of have to make a play on that one. It's deep enough that I think you could probably even tap or do something with it. You got to move it off, or it's gonna be hanging around there for the rest of the end. Now I think there's a good opportunity to do so.
And just as I suggest they need a miss, they get one, as that does not curl enough. And
Sorry? We pounded it. So.
Saskatchewan will have access to that stone. Rachel Erickson should be able to see most of it from the hack.
She's still gonna make it good. Yeah. We just have to get under there. Yeah. As long as we just keep it in one here. Yeah.
I'd say they can see about 13/16 of that stone. We want to really break it down. So kind of just through 8 being called. I think that's going to be all over the guard though, Tyler.
Yeah, looks like they're still getting caught in that spot where it's curling more on the crowd side than it is on the other side. And
This way, Will.
just got to talk about it and pick that up as a team.
So that was an opportunity to get out of trouble, and they let it get away from them. And it is still Manitoba. The only positive result is they do get one on the rings, but
What do you guys like better?
Manitoba shot position and
Okay, just play for the force. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll probably see them hit this, and
Just 10.
Saskatchewan
Shouldn't
can
curl
just
here.
come through that hole and nose it
Yeah,
and
it's
force
tight. I mean, this is probably good for
Mackenzie
the
Zacharias to
force.
make a
This
tough
would be
shot
good,
through the
like,
hole
to
right
force.
back. And
Yeah.
not the easiest hole, but definitely there.
Yeah.
oh, Tyler, you can drive a truck through that hole.
10. Stay close. It shouldn't curl here, but we'll see.
Lauren Lenentine with the sweeping call. And they listened. Nice shot by Mackenzie Zacharias. Mentioned Lauren Lenentine. She's already making history this week. We talked about Carly Burgess with a chance to win her 3rd Canadian Junior Women's Championship. Lauren Lenentine representing her 3rd province. Skipped Prince Edward Island previously, then moved to Nova Scotia to go to school and connect with the Caitlin Jones team. And that was for last season after skipping Prince Edward Island in 2018 at Shawinigan. And this year, as noted, she has moved to Manitoba to go to school and join with the Zacharias team. So 3 provinces in 3 years, never been done of the Canadian juniors.
Not sure what weight she's throwing here, but this borderline looks like a lot of ice. I guess we haven't seen too close to the center line, but
Hard! Hard! Yes! Hard!
it's curling a little more than the other spots. Guess I can eat crow again.
So that's a bad wreck.
12-5. What? 12-5. That's all right.
Yeah.
Right here.
Okay. Just a little less ice, Lauren. Okay. Less. Yeah, that's close. Okay.
So now a chance to really turn up the heat on Saskatchewan for Mackenzie Zacharias. Sitting 2. Saskatchewan does have last stone.
Line's fine.
It's gonna overcurl.
Guard was the call.
Sit.
And the guard is the result. And this is a
A
problem.
little, but I think we just need to go wide and finish it because we can always. It's fine.
It's really tight. Yeah, it looks like a rock switch from over there, but
Can they get through that hole? It's a little tighter than the one I said you could get through,
Touch tight.
drive a
like-
truck through now.
Minivan now, but yeah, that is very tight. If they're just drawn to give up one, I'd just be a little inclined to maybe just hit the open one and do it a little easier.
Hit and roll. I don't think it's there.
Hit and roll. Okay. What kind of weight?
Precise last time we only got to edge of 4, like here.
Yeah.
Okay. Outturn? Or do you think we need the intern?
9.
Yeah, I think so.
You got it.
I believe we saw a pretty similar shot to this a couple of games ago on the stream. It was in the Northwest Territories, if I believe. Almost made a spectacular shot against a
Right to the back of the
4 or
button.
5 or something like
Sawyer
that.
Kaiser, I do
Yeah.
remember that.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Hard. Hard.
See if they can
Big
get the
clean.
roll, but it looks like it'll just remove the Saskatchewan stone, the Manitoba stone,
One
and it
yellow.
will be a count of 1 for Manitoba. They will take a 7-2 lead into the 5th end break, and we too will take a 5th end break. We'll be back in a few moments to the George Preston Recreation Center in the township of Langley.
That has to be the most Canadian thing I've ever seen.
Well, maybe if he was also eating a poutine.
And drinking maple syrup.
And he's also a curler.
Guys, you know I've never actually been curling before.
And you call yourself a Canadian?
I'm sorry.
There's more than 1,000 curling facilities in Canada. Be a good Canadian and find one near you today.
Before there was ice, there was our hallway at home. I was always the shy, quiet kid who loved math. But when I saw math come alive in the geometry of the game, I found my passion and my voice. It's a game of precision, a game of inches. It's the equation that now defines who I am.
Curling, the game with the ice, and the rocks, and the sweeping, and the yelling. Each game starts with a handshake. Then, 2 teams of 4 people take turns throwing 44-pound stones down a sheet of ice. Each team throws 8 rocks, and the team closest to the center after all the rocks are thrown will score the points. This process is repeated for 6 to 10 rounds until one team is victorious. It's just that simple. Or is it?
One might say I was born to overcome challenges. 2 months premature, in and out of the hospital, and a heart condition. My parents call me their miracle baby. As with all survivors, I searched for my place in this world, and I found it here. This pebbled ice is where I battle now, and at only 12, I am already a 5-year veteran of this sport. I have my sights set on the Olympics. I will push hard to get there. The only size that matters in this sport is the size of your dreams.
We are back at the George Preston Recreation Center in Langley, British Columbia. It is the 6th end of this Thursday morning game at the 2020 New Holland Canadian Junior Men's and Women's Curling Championships. I'm Al Cameron from Curling Canada. I'll be joined by Tyler Tardy as we head into the second half of this game between unbeaten Mackenzie Zacharias and Manitoba, and the Saskatchewan team skipped by Ashley Thevenot from Saskatoon, and it is Manitoba jumping out to a 7-2 lead, looking to extend their unbeaten record to 8 games, and for all intents and purposes, just about clinch a berth in those 3-team playoffs. Saskatchewan, meanwhile, in the midst of a 3-game losing streak, and definitely had some troubles navigating things in that first 5 ends. And I know some frustration had to have been building up for Saskatchewan as they let a couple ends get away from them that resulted in draws for 3 for Mackenzie Zacharias. We can tell you a bunch of other games are underway this morning, and we'll run them down for you very quickly in the women's championship pool. This is the lone game in action. Oh, pardon me, that's not correct. Alberta. Abby Marks taking on New Brunswick and the Melody Forsyth team, and it is a 4-2 lead for Alberta. A deuce in the 4th, a steal of 1 in the 5th. New Brunswick has Hammer playing the 6th end. Also in the championship pool, you've got Ontario, skipped by Sierra Sutherland, up 5-1 on Nova Scotia's Taylor Stevens. Nova Scotia coming in with a 6-1 record. Ontario at 4-3, but a deuce in the 1st, a steal of 1 in the 2nd, and 2 more in the 4th. And it is Ontario with a big lead there. In the men's championship pool this morning, here in the arena, it is Saskatchewan, Rylan Kleider, your former teammate Tyler. He was an alternate on your gold medal team last year at the World Juniors in Liverpool. He has taken a deuce in the 5th end to tie it up 4-4 with Manitoba's Brett Walter. And also over at the Langley Curling Center, Newfoundland Labrador jumping all over Prince Edward Island. Both those teams on 2-game losing streaks after winning their first 5 here, but Newfoundland Labrador, and Daniel Bruce taking 4 in the 5th end to jump out to a 7-1 lead over PEI's Tyler Smith. As well, BC number 1, Hayato Sato, taking a 1 in the 4th and stealing 1 in the 5th to go up 2-1 on Manitoba 2's Jacques Gauthier.
Back 4.
And Tyler, as we like to do, let's ask you your thoughts. If you were the coach, what would you have done? What would you have told your teams at the 5th end break? And we will start. We'll go one at a time. Let's start with Saskatchewan's coach, James Mulaney. What might he have told his team?
That one didn't look bad. I thought
Yeah, I think they've had some great ends, and it's quite clear if you've been watching. And I think the coaches know that as well.
You got it, Paige.
So for Saskatchewan, I'd just say try to find what they were doing well, which in my opinion, it was the draw game. And so I think you just try to force the issue a bit and do that as much as you can. They've been doing that well, and I think if they can do that as much as possible, they'll still have a decent shot this game. So yeah, just go back to your roots and do what you're comfortable with, and yeah, I think that's their best chance of coming back in this game.
Meanwhile, Sheldon Zacharias with a 7-2 lead. I don't know that there's much he'd have to tell his team.
Yeah, to be honest, if I was him, I probably even wouldn't say anything. They're playing well all this week. I wouldn't want to interfere at all. They're clearly doing whatever they're doing right and getting in the zone, and I think you just don't want to interrupt. I feel like they'll have their own way of dealing with it, and whatever they're doing, I think he's doing well. So whatever he's been saying in the past, I think you just stick to it.
Or we just play the straight tap. Okay.
So as usual, boy, we always early parts of these ends, you're always going to see Manitoba stones right around that 4-foot, and that is again the case. 2 in the 4-foot.
I mean, we can always
Saskatchewan does have hammer.
Yeah, it seems like teams are getting a little tricked by Team Manitoba here. They're expecting the team to just peel as soon as they can, have a chance, but this team is going to jump all over you. Doesn't matter what the score is, they're going to keep on putting on the pressure, and they're doing that right now.
Okay. Just a few feet more. Back 8.
Whoa.
Back 12.
No.
Back 12.
Little bit.
Championship pools games are underway, but also in the seeding pool, the teams that didn't make it into the championship pool, they are playing seeding pool games to determine the final standings.
Yeah, hard.
Which will play a role in the MA Cup standings presented by TSN, as well as the Curling Canada Foundation Cup standings, where all the member associations gather points from all the championships. The Curling Canada Foundation Cup is specific to the under-21, these New Holland Canadian Juniors, as well as the under-18 championships. Of course, Pro BC won that Curling Canada Foundation Cup last year. Gold and silver medal at the under-21s last year in Prince Albert. So in the seeding pool this morning, you do have some games in the women. It is Northern Ontario's Kira Brunton in a 6-0 lead over the Northwest Territories' Tiana Bain. And over at the Langley Curling Center, no, that is the only seeding pool game in the women this morning, pardon me. And in men's seeding pool,
7.
Here at the curling at the arena, it is Northern Ontario's Jacob Horgan trailing 5-3 to Ontario's Owen Purdy.
Gotta go a bit here.
And that is the lone seeding pool game this morning in the men's side.
Hard, guys. Hard. Full forward, full forward, full forward, full forward.
That's a nice result, but it should be open.
No, I agree. And if we clip the guard, it's okay.
We'll have to be a little careful here of when they do peel it out, they may just bump that other yellow in the top 4 and maybe knock it just behind the tee line, which would be unfortunate, but Looks like they're okay.
Shot, Carly. Good throw, Car. I got 8. What'd you get? 7-7. Yeah.
So the hit being called now for Saskatchewan, trying to get out of a bit of a jam because I think that's been a theme of this game, Tyler, is they are in chase mode constantly. And that is going to wreck on their own rock.
10-7.
Yeah, it's tough, and now we're looking at a similar scenario that it's going to be a pretty wide open end, and I think the Manitoba team is doing pretty well at that, and I think the Saskatchewan team just needs to maybe play a little more of a draw game if they could.
Like, that's just like here. Yeah, she might do this. Just, yeah, but it'll jam. I think just guard just a piece of this.
This side, you're never going to get a roll with the way it curls. This curls a lot.
Top 8.
I think this is minimum ice. Yeah, 14-8.
Top 4.
We're close. Top 8. T. Line's okay.
Should come off with a curl.
Still got to curl a bit. Curling now. Top 4. Just right here, guys. Line's good. Got to curl a bit. Line's good. Right here. Right here, right here. Just here, take a look.
You know, the other thing about this Manitoba team too that is kind of one of those hallmarks is, listen, they're not robots. They're going to miss a shot, but very, very rarely do they miss 2 in a row. And I know that's a theme for any good curling team. You understand that you're going to miss, but you just can never let yourself miss 2 in a row.
For sure, and I think on top of that, it's not only about the shots you miss, it's about which ones you make. And I think it's quite common that you'll see this team make a shot after the other team misses, which makes that miss for the other team that much more significant. So they do a great job at that. A nice triple there. That really helps out with clearing up the.
It sure does.
Yeah.
So suddenly the situation not as dire, but still it will be quite likely 2 Manitoba stones in the rings as Ashley Thevenot gets ready to deliver her first skip rock. But this is Mackenzie Zacharias looking to remove the Saskatchewan counter.
And a kind of tricky spot here. Haven't seen this path quite yet, so we don't know what it'll do when it crosses center on the curling side, but good guess here, I think.
Nothing tricky about that.
9-5. Good call.
Good sweep.
I think they'd want a little more of a roll to make the double tougher. But
They're so demanding.
I am. It's the skip in me.
It's a little tight.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Your brother on the broadcast was a lot more forgiving, I gotta say.
Yeah, if I'm not complaining, what am I doing here? So
Sorry? Just go straight. Oh, yeah.
I always have something to nitpick on.
Did you happen to listen in to your brother's broadcast?
I did, yeah.
Solid outing.
Yeah.
He's still on the team.
Yeah, right on the cusp.
Ashley Thevenot looking at a couple. There is a pocket there.
Okay, line's a little tight.
Hard, guys.
Hard then.
Hard.
Yes.
Hard.
Hard. Line's good. Go. Hard.
Good weight.
Great shot.
Yeah, very nice. You know, we talk about the little things too, and this Manitoba women's team is the only team I've seen doing this. When there's when the opponent is playing a draw, they've always got someone walking alongside the draw to get a precise time. Either
14-8.
Lauren Lenentine does it, Carly Burgess just did it. That's not a lot of teams do that, but that's just another one of those attention to detail kind of things.
What's your tolerance?
Yeah, you see a lot of the top teams starting to do that. And Joanne Courtney's an example, and I'd like to say they're a pretty good team. So, yeah, whatever helps you get that extra inch every once in a while is going to help with your results.
You know, going back to Jordan last night, and we were talking about one of the things about your team having not just a game plan on the ice, but a game plan off it. And, you know, we talked about the support system. Obviously, your mom and dad, your dad coaches, your mom CEO and general manager of Team Tardy in essence. But there's a plan in place for on and off the ice that takes care of things for your team. And I get the sense that this Manitoba women's team is much the same in terms of their approach to a week-long competition like this. I would strongly suspect that everything is pretty mapped out.
Yeah, I think so. They're being here pretty much every draw. I've seen them show up pretty much the exact same time before every draw. And, I think that's clear. They have a pretty good routine set up, and I think it's pretty impactful for their success so far.
I'm not sure if that's good or bad, looking at that setup right now.
You may have to play the triple for 2, actually.
Stay high enough?
Don't believe you can nose for second.
Okay.
But at the same time, the triple's tough because you may need to hit that thin enough that you miss the one on the button. So may actually be a pretty good shot.
Sorry, Mac, I thought it would come off.
Either that or you could throw a missile and actually hit the red one first.
That's actually what I thought they were looking at, but almost get a little bit of an around-the-clock effect
You like
there.
that turn? I think we have to make sure we get this, though, right?
Yeah, there's 2 ways you can make it. It's maybe there if you hit the frozen yellow about 3/4, and then you hit your shooter into the red and it punches the other yellow out of the forefoot, or you can come off the red about 7/8 and have the frozen red hit the one on the button, and your shooter hits the one that they're currently hitting.
Either way, this is going to take a little bit of muscle.
Yeah, for sure.
From Ashley Thevenot.
Whoa! Whoa, whoa! No! Mary! Whoa! Hard, Mary!
Trying to get it to curl a little. And it does not make contact with the Manitoba Stone on the button, so it will be another steal for Manitoba. They will take an 8-2 lead, and you see the replay on this. It just could not move that yellow stone. So, 8-2 lead for Manitoba. We'll head to the 7th end, and Manitoba well on its way to an 8th straight victory. And as we mentioned, very, very close to locking up a playoff spot and a spot in those final 3. Reminder that the semifinals on Saturday. We haven't determined which gender will play when yet. Depends on the tiebreaker scenarios, but we know the semifinals will take place at 11 a.m. These are Pacific times, 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. on Saturday. And the gold medal games, we do know that the women's final will take place at 9 a.m. Pacific, that's noon Eastern, and the men's final at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 Eastern. Semifinals and finals can be seen on TSN. Our great broadcast partners at TSN, they will be on the air with the semifinals and finals this weekend. And one of the neat things about being at a Curling Canada Championship, when TSN arrives, they start scurrying around backstage, setting up all of their equipment, and boy, it's already starting to look great in here. Already did look great, and now the TSN overhead camera is in place on the feature sheet, which is sheet C. Our feature sheet, meanwhile, is sheet D, and we will start this
2-3.
seventh end with Manitoba needing to generate something to get a comeback. And if nothing else, Tyler, I think they need to generate something positive to carry them into their last couple games in the championship pool.
Yeah, for sure. And I think with every game being so important, you always got a shot. And even if you don't come out with a win, you can always get something out of a game. And I think if you have that mindset, you'll maybe even play well this game in the last couple ends and could make a bit of a comeback. And that's always great for confidence as well.
We will be back on the air with another championship pool game this afternoon at 2 p.m. Pacific. And it's a big game featuring Manitoba number 2, skipped by Jacques Gauthier, taking on Alberta's Ryan Jakes. And as your brother pointed out, if Ryan pronounced his name the way his name looks like it should be pronounced, it would be Jacques versus Jacques. But Ryan spells his name Jacques, but it is pronounced Jakes. So that's at 2 p.m. Big game, plenty of implications there. And then tonight it will be Nova Scotia, Taylor Peters, taking on Newfoundland Labrador, Mackenzie. Sorry, we're just distracted by one of the games here. The Newfoundland Labrador, skipped by Mackenzie Mitchell, taking on Nova Scotia's Taylor Stevens, not Taylor Peters. Too much going on in this rink this morning. And that game will be at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. And considering who's involved, we'll tell you 11 p.m. Atlantic, 11:30 in Newfoundland Labrador. Newfoundland Labrador taking on Nova Scotia, a big women's championship pool game tonight. And we'll conclude the championship pool coverage Friday at 9 a.m.
13-9.
as it will be New Brunswick taking on
Even frozen to it's okay.
Ontario. Sierra Sutherland and that Ontario team taking on New Brunswick. Should be a fascinating game there as well. And you'd like to hope that there will be something on the line in that game.
Saw our first 2 real mistakes in a row this end so far and from the Manitoba team. And great opportunity for Team Saskatchewan to maybe make a bit of a play on that and take that opportunity as best you can and get the best out of those 2 misses.
Yeah.
It's close.
Right here. Yes. Yep. Hard.
So that corner guard is being utilized again by Saskatchewan, and they tuck a second one behind there. Manitoba still sitting 3, but Mackenzie Zacharias not going to take any chances. That corner guard is the call for her sister Emily.
We'll probably just see Saskatchewan replacing the guard and Manitoba just peeling it back and forth for a couple shots until Saskatchewan makes a play on those rocks on the center line.
Just taking a quick look at the women's championship pool standings. This Manitoba team, as noted, 7-0. Nova Scotia at 6-1. Alberta at 5-2. And then you had a big logjam of teams at 4-3 with New Brunswick, Ontario, and Quebec. And Newfoundland Labrador, all of them at 4-3, along with Saskatchewan, by the way, 4-3. So I would suggest 4 losses is real trouble if Saskatchewan does go down to defeat here.
Yeah, I believe it's been done before with 4 losses, but maybe don't quite quote me on that. But yeah, if you're in the championship pool, you almost always have a shot. So just got to grind out a couple wins and hope the Stars line with 4 losses. But not quite out of it yet, so just gotta grind out this one and keep on playing.
Definitely not out of it, because a lot of those teams will have to go head-to-head.
Yeah, clean. Clean. Little bit, yep, right up. Good. Good shot.
We've seen some pretty big comebacks this week so far, so 6 points isn't necessarily that bad, it seems like. Three, force, 3. Then you just need to steal.
Easy peasy.
Yeah.
Just tight, guys. Happy in.
Rachel Erickson trying to
Line's good.
get up another guard.
Line's really good. Mary's rock.
Is an 8-2 lead for Manitoba. The big 3 in the 4th end after a first end 3 plus steals of 1 in the 5th and 6th ends.
Good save,
Nice
guys.
guard there.
We'll probably see Saskatchewan make a play on those center line guard or shots next shot.
I mean, you were close and you still easily rolled out last time. You're close there.
I do. It's tight. That's a bit of an angle.
Okay.
I like this.
Straight.
I think they know that they're going to have to make a play on those center line ones pretty soon. But at the same time, they could play it safe. It's a pretty straightforward double, so they could just wait it out and see what Saskatchewan does and make that shot next shot.
Okay, right up.
Straight wrap. Just clean. That's fine.
Heel is made.
You're just thinking like, it's tight, there's a bit of an
May as
angle.
well try.
Yeah.
May be able to
Probably just knows
triple tap that back yellow in line with the red so that it jams if they do make that double.
That one's gonna.
Right on the nose and make a little pocket as well.
Okay.
Now, there's a lot of fans in both Saskatchewan and Manitoba tuning in today, and we can give you an update in the other Saskatchewan-Manitoba game that's going on, the men's championship pool. Saskatchewan, Ryland Kleider has just blanked the 7th end,
Yeah.
and they will take hammer to the 8th, trailing 5-4 to Manitoba's Brett Walter. Reminder, you can get all the scores all the time. Live updates, live percentages, live standings, curling.ca/scoreboard. And we'll listen in on the Saskatchewan timeout.
The big question is where you're going to put your shooter after.
Like you're
You gotta
thinking
make
hit
sure you're
rather
moving.
than just tap?
We have to hit.
Have to hit.
Yeah, we have to hit.
I think if I nose it, it jams on the back, right?
Yeah, but you get
If I'd
two
get
out of
2.
there.
If we get too soft with it, we need to be able to get those 2 rocks in play over on the other side there.
Like
So,
9 at it then?
Yeah, I think straight nose to get rid of 2 of them, and then we've got the 2 set up for sure.
Okay.
Because you know as well as I do, you'd throw a rock right into that top pile, right? Okay, that's good.
What turn do you want?
What?
What turn?
I see the in.
What are your thoughts here, Tyler?
Yeah, I like the thought process there and trying to just clear out those yellows to make those red ones count. It's a pretty straightforward double, but it's in a trickier spot, so they see a miss out of it. And,
Yeah.
You're probably getting
I like
2 at
it.
least playing this, and if they don't make that
9.
double, you could have the 3 in play.
Whoa. Page. Hard page.
Hard.
to hold that shooter in a spot that's usable. Not bad.
That'll do, yeah.
Just to complete the Manitoba updates, because we know there's a few Manitoba viewers, Jacques Gauthier, Manitoba number 2, has taken a deuce in the 7th end and take a 3-2 lead on BC's Hayato Sato, who will have hammer in the 8th. And we saw last night that Hayato Sato is pretty comfortable playing from behind with hammer. He put together a deuce in the 10th end to beat Nova Scotia in dramatic fashion. Manitoba, I think, will see if they can play the double takeout and remove those 2 Saskatchewan stones. Pretty nice, and it is. Manitoba still sitting shot stone. Saskatchewan has a chance to sit 2 here. But the key is to leave her shooter in a spot, I would think, Tyler, that doesn't give Mackenzie Zacharias another shot at a double takeout.
Yeah, you're probably going to have to roll a little bit to the left side there. You could even actually also roll to the right side and maybe make a little bit of a pocket, and it makes it pretty difficult to remove those 2. But obviously that's a little more risky, but I think this is for sure the smart call.
Nose is tolerance, but we need a little roll.
Hey, whoa!
Yes, then.
Yeah, then! Hard, then, yep! Hard line!
Hard, guys!
Hard!
Hard!
Hard for nose!
Hard! Roll the other way, then!
Hard.
Trying to improvise here, but I think it leaves a fairly manageable double takeout.
Yeah, Mackenzie's been making quite a few doubles this game, so I think she's confident in throwing this.
I didn't get a ton.
So might need a little bit of steam, but definitely there.
Pardon? Yeah. They were saying bored, but it didn't look that down. Probably a 10-5.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's just this is really tempting. Yeah, I know. You hate to give her 3. Yeah, just 10?
Yep.
It should curl over the long. No, this side, not quite as hard, I guess.
Hey, you got it, Matt.
All right, 10? Yeah. Yeah.
So not the double call here.
Yeah, I think they're a little worried about
Stay close in case
maybe it
it
over
jumps.
curling and stuffing that. That's pretty much the only way you give up 3 this end, and unless you get a flash. But they're playing well enough to not worry about that. I think everyone here is, and yeah, I think this is definitely a smart call. You could probably even roll and maybe make a shot for 2 quite difficult. So they're just trying to roll about half under that red one.
Like it'll be right on the nose.
9-6.
So a hit for 2 for Saskatchewan.
Good sweep.
That will stop the bleeding.
That's good.
I'd be inclined to maybe throw that one a little more aggressively, calling the roll, and so you either make it or you roll out, kind of a thing. I think Ashley has maybe not thrown too many draws this game, if I can recall, and so I think she's a little more comfortable throwing this if I were to take a guess.
That's kind of an example of those little things that that can produce great results. It's you know, you just okay, we're fine with the hit, but like you said, if you really think it out, you want to do something with that hit.
Yeah, for sure.
Mary, hard. Hard over.
Trying to get that to
Hard
curl.
over. No roll, no roll, no roll.
And it should sit. And it does, and it will be a deuce for Saskatchewan. So Manitoba still in that 8-4 lead, and they will have hammer when we go to the 8th end. We ran down the women's championship pool standings. Quick look at the men's championship pool. It is Manitoba 2 and Saskatchewan. Jacques Gauthier of Manitoba 2 and Saskatchewan's Rylan Kleider leading the way at 6-1. PEI and Newfoundland Labrador at 5-2, but they are playing head-to-head, so something will give there. And that last report, it was a 7-2 lead for Newfoundland Labrador. Alberta at 4-3, BC number 1 at 4-3, Manitoba number 1 at 4-3, and Nova Scotia at 4-3. So I would say less likely that we'll have a tiebreaker in that side, just the way things shake down. And just before we get this 8th end started, let's talk about the great New Holland Hay Tools giveaway. It's a chance to win big, really, really big. And when I say big, I mean big tractors, big equipment, $550,000 worth of haymaking equipment and prizes as part of the great New Holland Hay Tools giveaway. New Holland, of course, are a wonderful title sponsor for the 2020 New Holland Canadian Juniors. They're giving away weekly prizes between now and February 25th, and on March 2nd is the grand prize date when they will be giving away, as noted, more than $550,000 worth of haymaking equipment and other prizes. You can find out more at newhollandgiveaway.com. Once again, that's newhollandgiveaway.com to find out rules, to get more information, and to enter the great New Holland Hay Tools giveaway. So here is a tick being called for Lauren Lenentine.
Little bit, yeah. Really hard. Other way. Whoa.
Giving up on the high side tick and see if they can get something done across the face.
Hard. Yeah. Okay.
That worked out pretty well.
I got 13 and a half. I thought she a little bit tight, but not bad.
Called an audible and it worked out.
She's a little tight, but it wasn't bad. Yikes.
We do see, since that ice plant issue yesterday morning, we have noticed that there is a change, particularly from the 8th, 9th, and 10th ends in the ice. It does slow down a little bit, and it fudges a little bit, so that could have been an example of it right there.
Yeah, and later in the week in an arena, we'll see the slide path getting a little bit flatter just because the ice is a little bit softer than in a curling club.
And Tyler, having been through this before too, we can say that the good teams will be prepared for that eventuality, but as they will for the playoff games when they'll be the only game on the ice, and that again will produce some different ice conditions.
Yeah, for sure. In the past, we've had a little bit of a different sheet that's in the final. I'm sure the ice makers always do as much as they can, but with the TV lights beating down on the ice, that's new, and that's a big temperature change, and there's usually more people in the crowd, and does make those little differences that teams that are haven't experienced that before may be in a bit of a shock when that happens, and yeah, it can make a bit of an impact on the game if you don't catch on to it quick enough.
I will say they have not needed to install extra TV lights here in the George Preston Recreation Center. They upgraded the lighting system.
Oh, perfect.
And these are LED lights, and TSN did a survey back in the springtime and said, no, we don't need extra lights. It's perfectly fine in here. So, but definitely a difference when you only have 8 players on the ice as opposed to the 40 players that are on the ice during a draw such as this one.
For sure, yeah. And even though they're not on the ice, those teams are usually out in the crowd cheering on their peers. So I don't think that makes too much of a difference with players being on the ice. It does make a little bit of a difference, but I think the biggest change is just the crowd, and especially with juniors, the crowd is usually told to sit on one side of the rink for just for TV purposes, and sometimes can heat up one side of the sheet more than the other, and makes it a little bit tricky, but definitely something you should catch on to if you're playing in that game.
And the other thing, of course, is you're on national television. You know, for many of these players, it'll be their first time on TSN, and you got the microphones on, and you're thinking about that, and you're thinking about just you're on a television channel that you've been watching all your life. And I mean, I'm sure you remember the first time you were on TSN, and that must have been a different experience for you.
Yeah, for sure. But luckily with Curl BC, they've given us a lot of media training, and we're fortunate enough to have some cameras in BC as well. So we had a bit of that experience under our belt in the past. But yeah, the first time you play, it's definitely a big challenge. Hard to not look at the cameras, to be honest. It feels like a big eye watching you, and you just can't help but look at it. It can be a little bit of a distraction your first time at it, especially when you're playing the biggest game of your life in the final and semifinal. And yeah, just something you gotta try to get over as much as possible and focus on achieving your dream, really.
I'm always curious about this. Guy who's been on TV a number of times like yourself. Do you ever watch your televised games? Do you ever?
I have a habit of watching the games we lost. But yeah.
With an eye to learning something from them?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's this one game that doesn't exactly make me happy watching it, but I think there's a lot of good learning moments in it, and I think it's good motivation to work on those little things and pretty much learn from my mistakes as much as I can. And but yeah, it's nice to be able to watch games on TV that you played in, and with being mic'd, it's easier to pick apart things you said and things you maybe shouldn't say and stuff like that to maybe fine-tune things. It's a good learning opportunity for sure.
Okay, don't leave me hanging. Which game?
It was actually at the World Juniors back in Korea. We were playing a hot Scotland team. It was Cameron Bryce. We see him every once in a while too. And yeah, if we won that game, we were in the 1-2 game against Korea, and we lost, and we ended up in a tiebreaker, which we ended up losing against Norway. And yeah, that was a bit of a heartbreaker, but watched it a few times, and I think we've learned from our mistakes.
No, just clean. Nice shot.
So the Rocks being peeled out clinically by this Manitoba team. Saskatchewan trying to generate something. We do have a final to report. As soon as they post the score, we'll let you know, but we can tell you that in the women's seeding pool, Northern Ontario has defeated the Northwest Territories. Northern Ontario taking 3 in the 8th end for a 10-1 win over Tiana Bain of the Northwest Territories. So that is a final.
Line's really good.
Switch. Hard over, Mary. Hard.
Right center.
Hard.
Good sweep.
Whoa.
Yeah. Hard. Nice shot, Kurt.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah, I'd take that.
Nice shot. Really good.
Very nice shot.
Reminder, we will be back on the air at 2 p.m. Pacific,
Yeah,
Right away.
5 p.m.
I thought it might stay
Eastern.
straight over there.
Men's championship
We're going hard
pool
for the
game
skill
between
ones,
Manitoba number 2 Jacques Gauthier taking on Ryan Jakes of Alberta. 2 p.m. Pacific time, right here on Curling Canada's YouTube channel. the guards being called by
Line's
Saskatchewan, and frustrating position to be in.
Line's
Tyler,
good.
I know you've been
Take a look.
in a position like this yourself. It's just a matter of crossing your fingers, but you need a few misses.
Yeah, for sure. And
16.
yeah, it's tough to throw, and knowing you're leaving your opposition with a fairly straightforward shot, but that's the best you can do, and it's frustrating. But just gotta work through it and stay positive, which they're doing a good job doing.
All right, just peel. Yeah.
Quick update from the men's game between Saskatchewan and Manitoba. A deuce for Saskatchewan's Rylan Kleider in the 8th end gives them a 6-5 lead over Manitoba's Brett Walter. And over at the Langley Curling Center, the other Manitoba team, Manitoba number 2, Jacques Gauthier, and we'll see them at 2 p.m. They just gave up a deuce in the 8th end to BC number 1, Hayato Sato. So it is a 4-3 lead for BC number 1. Manitoba number 2 will have the hammer in the 9th end.
Clean. Good.
Peel made by Mackenzie Zacharias. Now pretty much the last gasp, calling a freeze. Saskatchewan will be back on the ice tonight, 7 p.m. against New Brunswick. This Manitoba team, by the way, will be back on the ice at 2 o'clock right here in the arena against Newfoundland Labrador.
Line's good. Room. Lots of room. Well then. It's got to move. It's really got to curl here.
And that will carry through to the back of the house, and I think Manitoba sits shot.
$14-2. Sorry. It definitely, like from the sound, it looks like that. Yeah. I'm pretty sure, hey? Because we're a good, like, third in. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Hey, we get one, we get one. Yeah.
So it'll be a draw for likely 2, but certainly 1 for Manitoba's
Pretty sure it's us.
Mackenzie
I mean, there's nothing to
Zacharias.
measure it, but if we get 1, that's okay. Yeah. Same weight as it has been? Okay.
Line's
Maybe a
good.
little bit, guys.
Line's nice. Getting into a tighter pass. We're getting into a tighter pass.
They'll bring that in. Like it's pretty close to the 4-foot.
Yeah, go ahead.
And it looks like they will concede the deuce, and they will concede the game. So it will be 2 for Manitoba, a 10-4 win. That will improve their record to 8-0 in the championship pool. I'd like to thank Tyler Tardy. This will be our last broadcast working with Tyler, and wish both you and Jordan the very best of luck at the BC Men's Championship that begin next week in Cranbrook. Tyler, our pleasure having you aboard here.
Thanks. It was a pleasure to be here, and thanks for having me.
We will be back at 2 p.m. Pacific Time, 5 p.m. Eastern, with more action from the 2020 New Holland Canadian Junior Men's and Women's Curling Championship. Bye for now.